You're watching Falcon Update live on Messiah University's Yellow Breeches Television.
Good evening, and welcome back to Falcon Update here on YBTV. I'm Josh McLeaf.
And I'm Paul Callender.
Messiah University currently sits at 15 active cases of COVID-19, 15 of those being on-campus students and other 3 being employees. With a decline of both cases on campus and in the state of PA, the university remains in phase 2 of their plan to combat the virus. In this phase, students are able to visit each other's residence halls on certain days of the week. For more on that, check out last week's broadcast on our YouTube channel. That being said, Messiah is still determined to slow the spread. The additional dining space at Brubaker Auditorium was closed last week due to consistent COVID policy violations, and the university still suggests avoiding off-campus travel unless it is safe and necessary. With the long weekend coming up, students should expect to see visitation extended for each day of the break. The campus population will also be undergoing a massive COVID test after this break out of an abundance of caution. During this time, Messiah still mandates a double-layered cloth mask and expects the community to keep a social distance when possible. Let's keep moving forward in a positive direction and keep the cases low.
Much of the traditional Messiah University experience has changed since the pandemic. Luckily, student ministries have been able to find a clever way to push forward. The team has been working to bring some semblance of normalcy to campus. By offering in-person chapel services, students have been able to gather and worship in a safe environment.
Our students really didn't have much opportunity to go off campus to church, particularly students who didn't have vehicles, and even those who did, certain churches aren't following the same COVID protocols as Messiah. So we decided, you know what, let's just go ahead and do this and have a minimal ministries requirement, so only 5 for the entire semester, and then offer it in a variety of different ways.
However, one thing similar to most churches today is that students can now view recorded chapels online to receive credit. To receive credit, the viewer answers a simple multiple-choice question relevant to the service. Gathering together is an important aspect of growing in one's faith. It's clear that student ministries are determined to make this growth on campus possible against all odds.
Last week, the Center for Public Humanities hosted their 2021 Virtual Humanities Symposium, titled A Conversation on Freedom. The symposium featured 6 days packed with online events featuring guest speakers, panel discussions, and virtual exhibits. These discussions were centered around racism in modern America, celebrating the advancements that have been made against segregation in the past century, while also encouraging participants to reconcile with our nation's legacy of slavery. The keynote lecture, titled Troubling the Narratives of a Democratic Nation, Whose Stories Are These?, was delivered by Jacqueline Jones Royster as the author and co-editor of various literary works discussing racism and advocating for social change. Royster's lecture was a fundamental piece of the symposium.
Just today, a garage fire was reported today just off campus. We caught up with student Sam Blevins, who ran to the scene to help.
I was studying with my friends in the union for nursing, and we saw some billowing smoke. It was pretty dark black smoke, so I figured it was probably a house fire. So I just jogged over there, and I got there as the fire trucks arrived. Realized they didn't really need any help, so I sat there and watched them fight the fire.
Blevins ran for a whole mile to the scene of the fire and the development behind Starry Field to help. More than 30 emergency units were on the scene, according to New York Dispatch. The fire was contained, and there were no injuries reported.
This past Friday, the Murray Library, along with Campus Wellness and Recreation, hosted their 5th annual Mini Golf in the Stacks. Clubs and departments across campus, like Campus Events and SGA, had the opportunity to produce unique and challenging mini golf holes between the bookshelves and the library. The holes were designed to show off what these organizations are up to and what opportunities they are providing students around campus. Students had the opportunity to work their way through the course between 6 and 10 p.m., putting along while also learning about how they can be involved on campus. 19 organizations participated in the event, helping to make the evening fun for students while also promoting student engagement.
Thank you, Josh. When we come back, we'll have more Falcon Update after the break. Stay tuned.
The new athletic training curriculum at Messiah College is a 5-year accelerated program that results in completion of a bachelor's in applied health science with a concentration in pre-athletic training and a master's of science in athletic training.
When I was introduced to the athletic training program at Messiah, I knew right away that it was going to be the right fit for me. There was just so much support and so much interest in me as an individual, and that community was really something special.
I think a student should be interested in studying this program, particularly at Messiah, largely because of the people that we have. Students are going to formally participate in case studies and case reviews, and there's also opportunities for collaboration with the faculty.
My friendship with the program director, Dr. Matt Lewis, has supported my journey as a Christian, as an athletic trainer, and as a scientist.
We are passionate about our students, and we're also passionate about the profession of athletic training.
You're watching Falcon Update live on Messiah University's Yellow Breeches Television.
Welcome back to Falcon Update live on YBTV. Messiah Spring Athletics are now in full swing. Let's take a look. The women's basketball team defeated Widener University both at Messiah and on Widener's own court. Point guard Sydney Stutzman was the hero at home. She sent Messiah into break leading 36-27. Those extra points were enough to let the Falcons soar above the Pride. The game ended 65-49 with Messiah on top. The Falcons then flew down to Widener the next day. Despite the 21 tie at halftime, Stutzman came in clutch once again, along with forward Leah Springer, and secured another victory against the Pride, with the score being 65-41. The Falcons will next travel to Eastern University on March 11th.
The Messiah men's basketball team also faced against Widener last week. The Falcons just barely claimed their victory in the away game, finishing with a final score of 79-72. The men's team was able to maintain a narrow lead over the Pride for the majority of the game, thanks to forward Will Young, who scored a total of 18 points and grabbed a dozen rebounds. However, Widener brought the heat to their visit at Messiah, scoring a 9-point lead over the Falcons within the first 7 minutes of the game. The Falcons walked away in defeat with a final score of 77-61, Widener. The Falcons now hold a 2-6 record and are preparing to go head-to-head against Eastern University this week.
The women's lacrosse team had a great match against Lycoming College, ending the game in a shocking score of 18-1. The team can certainly thank Rachel DeLate for shooting 6 goals during the game. However, in this case, the best offense is a good defense. Goalies Mackenzie O'Haver and Heather Berman stood their ground and kept Lycoming from making any shots. Stay tuned for next Thursday as Messiah will go play Stevenson's Institute of Technology in Hoboken, New Jersey.
The men's lacrosse team took a loss against Delaware Valley University in a score of 4-8. The game was off to a rough start already after the Aggies got a lead of 7-1 in the first half. And while players such as Sam Stone and Caleb Bates will work together to boost the score, the Falcons could not make it past the Aggies' lead. Messiah looks forward to winning against Wilkes University next week, so make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to be the first to hear our coverage of all things Messiah sports.
Last week, the men's volleyball team also faced off against Widener University. The Falcons won their first match at Widener after only 3 sets. Outside hitter Christian Wolf led the team to victory, tallying 10 kills throughout the game. At home, the Falcons fell short in the first set, but quickly took control of the game afterwards. 9 service errors from the Pride in the second set, and a total of 14 kills from outside hitter Mason Nisley fueled a comeback for the Falcons. The game ended 3-1 Messiah. Last week's victory leaves the team undefeated with a current record of 6-0. This week, the Falcons will compete to maintain their record at Stevenson University, located in Pikesville, Maryland.
All right, so we'll see what happens with that game. We'll come back to Falcon Update after the break. Don't go anywhere.
7 is now officially rebranded as Yellow Breeches TV.
So people ask me what kind of companies hire electrical and computer engineers. Basically, if you plug it in or it has a battery in it, electrical engineers were involved. Every Messiah engineering student is guaranteed an internship with an on-campus organization called the Collaboratory. The Collaboratory's business model is that it pairs student teams with either faculty mentors or outside professionals to work on systems that either care for the earth or help disadvantaged people around the world. One of our more successful projects is a project that involves facilitating use of limited electric power called EMMS.
So I am the student project manager of the MMS team, and so what that means is that I head up a team of students and industry volunteers who are developing a system that makes it possible for schools and medical clinics to be able to efficiently share their limited solar power resources. Just the faculty and the way that they interact with the students to help them grow is such a powerful thing.
You're watching Falcon Update live on Messiah University's Yellow Breeches Television.
Welcome back to Falcon Update, live on YBTV. We go to Nolan Hogenboom with this week's campus calendar.
I'm Nolan Hogenboom here with this week's campus calendar. While there are limitations on the events happening on campus, there are still plenty of opportunities to get involved in person and virtually in the upcoming week. The Career and Professional Development Center is hosting a webinar with Joseph Lorgenpai, an audit assistant at KPMG in Bangkok City, Thailand, as part of the Into the City International Series. The event will take place this Friday, March 12th from 11 a.m. to noon. Students can register for the event on the recent mass email sent out. Part of the Into the City International Series is another webinar hosted by the Career and Professional Development Center about working at Spotify. Students can discover what it is like to work at Spotify from alum Isaac One, who is a product manager in Sweden. The event is also on Friday, March 12th from 3 to 4 p.m. Students can register for the event on the recent mass email sent out. The Messiah Council on Family Relations is partnering with Duck Donuts in Mechanicsburg. If you want some delicious donuts during spring break, all you have to do is place an order by following the instructions on the recent mass email sent out. Donuts can be picked up at the Union this Friday, March 12th, between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Student purchases will help MCFR continue to bring people together and create meaningful relationships on campus. The admissions office is currently accepting ambassador applications for the 2021-22 academic year. To apply, fill out an online application provided in the recent mass email sent out and submit at least 2 recommendations with at least 1 from a Messiah faculty member. Applications are officially due by March 31st. For any questions, contact ambassadors@messiah.edu. Messiah's literary journal, the Peregrine Review, is officially accepting submissions for the 2020-21 issue. They accept poetry, prose, and art, as well as photography. All students, faculty, and staff are encouraged to consider submitting. Submissions are due by March 31st. Email your work to peregrine@messiah.edu. More details are provided in the recent mass email sent out. And as every student knows, Messiah is hosting a first ever staycation. With this comes some important details to keep in mind. First, residential hours have been expanded beginning on Wednesday, March 10th. You can find the details for this expansion on a recent mass email from the Dean of Students, as well as rules to keep in mind. Next, students will most definitely not be bored during the staycation, which officially begins on Thursday, March 11th and ends on Sunday, March 14th. Check out mass emails throughout the week for daily events, which include food trucks, an ice skating rink, a Name That Tune game, and much more. That's all for this week's campus calendar. I'm Nolan Hogenboom. We go now to Josh McLeaf with this week's Falcon on the Street.
Welcome back to Falcon on the Street, and this week we're going around campus asking students for their greatest piece of life advice.
Look back at how far you've come and just, keep moving up from there.
Live freely and fully, take advantage of what life has as opportunities, and just spend your time interacting and engaging with as many people as you can and doing whatever you can to the fullest.
My best piece of life advice is to get sleep. Sleep is underrated. I started getting 8 hours and my life completely changed.
I think my piece of best life advice, I would say, is just to be intentional about what you do with your time. I think time is precious, and often, it's really easy to just, spend your time scrolling on Instagram or, doing things that you don't love because you feel like you have to people please. And so I would just say, do what you love, spend your time intentionally, going for the things that you feel like you want to pursue and just do that.
My best piece of life advice is to just treasure the bad moments because they make the good moments so much better.
Make the most out of every single thing that you do. Even if it's just a small little memory, it's still going to have a big impact on your life and your happiness.
One day your life will flash before your eyes. Make sure it's worth rewatching.
We had some really great responses, and I hope these can help you get your life together. Reporting for YBTV, I'm Josh McLeaf.
Hello, and welcome back to Falcon Features, the segment in which we feature the hard work and accomplishments of Messiah students and employees. I'm your host, PJ Rydell. Last week on Falcon Features, we congratulated Dr. Jan Dormer on the publishing of her new book titled Language Learning in Ministry, Preparing for Cross-Cultural Language Acquisition. This week, we got the chance to talk to Dr. Dormer about her book and what went into the process of writing and publishing it. Dr. Dormer has spent much of her life, childhood and adulthood, as a missionary in various countries across the world. So as you can probably imagine, she knows a thing or two about learning new languages. Using research, interviews, and personal experience, she hopes her book can be a resource for other missionary families, churches, and organizations.
The book is meant as a guide, a help, a resource for both these cross-cultural workers or missionaries who are trying to learn a new language, but also for agencies, churches or mission agencies or nonprofit agencies that send these people out to other countries, and their first job is going to be to learn a language. So what kind of resources, what kinds of protocols or policies do these organizations need to have in place to facilitate the learning of a new language?
Dr. Dormer's book has been 3 years in the making, as she has taken the time to work with over 140 missionaries across the world to gain even further insight on the process of language learning in ministry. Congratulations, Dr. Dormer, on the publishing of her latest book and her contribution to cross-cultural ministries across the world.
Thanks, PJ. After the break, we'll have Ethan Oates from the Messiah Esports team with us to talk about League of Legends. You won't want to miss it, so stay tuned.
The nursing program at Messiah College prepared me in multiple ways. It really just helped me grow in my faith, first of all, but also in my vocation. I have found that adjusting to the work environment has been easier, and I feel that it was very much to do with Messiah College's nursing program.
The simulation labs here at Messiah, the ones that we used as students, are very comparable to the local hospitals.
My first job offer was here during a shadowing experience through the college. I interviewed and I pretty much got the job offer right there.
What I really like about Messiah students is that they look at nursing as a profession and a career, and they tend to do very, very well.
The fact that we are CCNE accredited says that we are engaged in effective educational practices. This means that the student who comes to Messiah College can be assured of receiving the highest quality nursing education and that their degree will be recognized by top healthcare organizations and graduate programs.
A lot of the relationships that I have with my classmates are very, very special. Nursing can be challenging, and so it's very nice to have friends that know what you're going through. One thing at Messiah College, which is really great, is how the Christian faith is brought into almost every part of your college career. In a lot of the classes, you have sometimes a devotional, or it's integrated into the course curriculum somehow.
The faculty at Messiah cared for me as a learner and as a person. They poured time and energy into me and supported me in my troubles and shared in my successes.
Come visit, set up a time where you can meet up with a professor, sit in on a class. It's a great way to see what Messiah College is all about, and just an overall amazing experience.
You're watching Falcon Update live on Messiah University's Yellow Breeches Television.
Welcome back to Falcon Update live on YBTV. I am joined by Ethan Oates, a member of the Messiah Esports team. How are you tonight?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So, I already know what League of Legends is, but pretend for a second I didn't. How would you explain it to me?
Well, it's a 5-on-5 game, and there's a lot to it that I won't go into the detail of, but basically the goal is to destroy the enemy nexus, and there are these turrets guarding it, and the goal is to just work together to eventually get there and outplay the enemy team.
Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to explain because there's a lot more going on
It definitely
other
is.
than that, but you
Yes.
know, as best you can. So, what exactly is your role on the esports team?
Well, on the team in general, I was voted the team captain my first semester on. I'm a freshman. So that was pretty awesome for me, just to be able to jump right into a leadership position. But in the game, my role is called the jungler, and what I do is basically roam around the map, just trying to help get advantages for my teammates. I'm kind of the coordinator, the facilitator of the team, and I get to make a lot of the decisions, but it is more of a team game than that, and I'm able to bring us together and just move around the map and make a lot of the team plays.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense that you're a jungler if you're the team captain, if you're coordinating everything.
Yeah.
So I know 2 Saturdays ago you played in the PA Cup, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. So how did it feel to place second?
It felt really good. I know last year when I wasn't here, they placed 4th. So it was really cool for me personally to know that my difference was felt and was shown in the results. But just being able to play against other top schools in the state was really, really fun. It was a long day, a very tiring day. And obviously playing against Harrisburg in the finals, they're the best at everything. So it wasn't a super enjoyable experience in the finals, but just being able to get second was really cool, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I know you just mentioned that you went up against Harrisburg in the finals, but what other kind of competition were you up against in the tournament?
Well, a lot of them were smaller schools, like Penn State wasn't there, but we did play against Humanities University, who we lost to last year, but we were able to take down this year. And usually Temple's in the tournament, but they were not this year. But yeah, Harrisburg, the tournament was hosted by Harrisburg, so they get to show off their own skill against some weaker competition, if you will, compared to themselves. But it was still a really fun experience.
So I know you lost and everything, but is there anything that you as a team learned from the entire tournament experience? Was there anything that you could take away from maybe this entire experience?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we took away is that we have improved a lot, especially from the beginning of this year when I first got here. We had never played together before. The esports program here is still very, very fresh, very new. And just the fact that we've been able to progress in a very short amount of time to the second best team in the state was really, really cool feeling for all of us. I know the whole team and Teresa, our manager, was very proud of us as well. So it's been a really cool experience.
Yeah, I would imagine she would be very proud. So I know you were voted team captain your first year at joining.
Yes.
But how Have you played in a tournament beforehand? Like, how much experience do you have with the game?
Well, I've played the game League of Legends since it was in Season 2, which was 9 years ago. We're now in Season 11. So I've definitely had a lot of experience playing on my own and just playing casually with friends. In terms of competitive tournament settings, I haven't had a whole lot of experience with that. So joining this team has been a really, really cool experience for me to be able to see how I can stack up to a lot of the better players throughout the country. And it's just been a really fun, improving experience, learning experience, being able to be part of a team, the whole deal.
Yeah, I definitely feel like an esports team at a university will definitely help get yourself out there into competitive esports, because there's not a super big tournament scene outside of like organized play, really.
Yes, definitely. That's the goal, though.
So what do you think the team needs to work on the most?
Oh, that's a tough question. There's definitely a whole lot we can improve on. I just think the biggest thing for us is making sure our communication is on the same page. That's, I believe, the most important aspect of the game. Just being able to be together, all be working towards the same common goal within the game, knowing what we want to achieve, knowing what we are capable of achieving, and if we're all working towards that same thing in the game, I think we'll be much better off as a team.
So, I'm not exactly familiar with the schedule of the whole esports thing, but when exactly is your next team's game? How exactly does that all work?
Well, one of our leagues that we're in, the Upsurge League, is every Friday. We're actually in the second round of playoffs this Friday at 8 p.m., coming up on best of 3. But other than that, the College League of Legends League, the official one, is every Saturday, but we did not make the playoffs for that. It's the entire country, some very good teams. So that league is over, but again, the Upsurge League, every Friday, come support.
So how can we actually watch these games?
They are streamed live on our Messiah Esports Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Messiah Esports, every Friday at 8 o'clock. Yep.
So I know you mentioned something about a goal earlier, but what exactly are any long-term goals that the team has? Do they want to win a specific tournament, or maybe beat a specific team, or just keep playing the best that they can?
I think the goal right now is to just be getting better. There's always room for improvement in everything, and as I just got here, that's definitely my goal, is to build better chemistry with my teammates. And as we have players graduate and players have shifting schedules, there's no guarantee that we'll have the same roster moving into next semester. So I think if I can just build up the chemistry with the players we have now and be able to have short-term success, that'll give me a lot more confidence going into whatever situation I'm in next. So I think right now it's just to build chemistry, build cohesion within the game with my teammates.
So how can people actually get into the whole esports thing at Messiah? I know you mentioned that some people leave and all that, and you need team cohesion. So how exactly would you get into something like this?
Yeah, so you can contact our manager, Teresa Gaffney. She's wonderful to talk to. She's very supportive. She can also put you in contact with me if you want to join League of Legends specifically. We also have an Overwatch team, a Rocket League team, and several other games. Our Overwatch team also placed second in Pennsylvania in the PA Cup, which is awesome. But yeah, we have really wonderful people to talk to in the program. I would definitely be willing if you want to talk to me about joining. And Teresa, I know, is definitely welcoming anyone.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I talked to her earlier. She is definitely a nice person.
Yes.
Can speak for that. Unfortunately, that is all the time we have. A big thank you to Ethan Oates for coming on to the show, for Josh McCleve and Paul Callender and our other fantastic reporters. I'm Chris Blakeman. Have a great night, and we'll see you back here next week.
You're watching Falcon Update on YBTV.